Today we will be learning about how to calculate volume and what volume is. Please remember to make sure that you're taking visual notes using 3 different colors and the methods that we learned about in class. So when we're measuring volume, most likely you've done this in math class. If it's a regularly shaped object, so a solid, you're going to be using the formula length times width times height. And our definition for volume is the amount of space that an object occupies. And again, we're using the metric system, and so volume is measured using cubic meters, or meters cubed. You can see it right here. We use that superscript for the cube. We take our length times our width times our height. But we are not always finding the object or the volume of a solid that's shaped like a cube. So we could be measuring the volume of a liquid. So when we're finding the volume of a liquid, we use our metric unit of measurement called liters, which we write as a capital L as an abbreviation. So when we're measuring the volume of a liquid, we need to use a graduated cylinder. And a graduated cylinder has intervals of measurement on it. Usually it's in milliliters, and which are these little lines right here. These lines are called graduations, and it's more accurate than a beaker or a flask when measuring volume. And the reason is because it is smaller. And so right here is a close view of it, and you can see each line is called a graduation, and this is our water line. So when we're using a graduated cylinder, the surface of the liquid will have a slight curve, and you can see it here. It kind of curves. You can see it really well in the last picture, and that curve is called the meniscus, and it occurs because the liquid sticks to the side of the cylinder. So when you're measuring the volume of a liquid, what you want to do is you want to look at the bottom of that meniscus to get your most accurate reading. And you also want to be eye level with the water line, or whatever the liquid is. So you're going to have to bend down and get it eye level. And the reason that we do this is because if you're standing above or below that water line, it's going to change the appearance of where the line is on the graduated cylinder. Another important thing to remember is to make sure that you have the graduated cylinder on a flat surface. You don't want to be holding it in your hand because you're not necessarily, you won't have your hand straight, and so that will make your measurement off. So when we're measuring the volume of an irregular shape, so let's say we wanted to find the volume of a rock, of a pen, of a marble, something that doesn't have it's not a cube, it's not easy to find. We're going to use the method called displacement. And the definition of displacement is the movement of an object from one place to another caused by a second object. So what we do is we take our graduated cylinder and we put a certain amount of water in it. We find the volume of that amount of water, and then we'd add the rock or whatever it is we're trying to find the volume of. And then we look again at our water line, at our meniscus, and it'll be higher than it was before. And so then what we do is we take and we subtract the original volume from the new volume, and that gives us the volume of the rock. So again, when you take an irregularly shaped object and putting it into a known volume of water, you can find the volume of the irregularly shaped object by finding the change in the volume. So again, these are some pictures. So you can see here that our first volume, we put 200 milliliters of water in our graduated cylinder. When we added a rock to it, our volume increased to 265 milliliters. So we take 265 milliliters minus 200 milliliters, and that leaves us with the rock's volume of 65 milliliters. Now, the only other thing to remember is that the volume of a solid object is always measured in cubic meters or cubic centimeters, so you have to convert. So 1 milliliter equals 1 cubic centimeter. So instead of saying 65 milliliters for the volume of the rock, we'd say 65 cubic centimeters. Okay, so what you need to do now is head to Edmodo and take the Edmodo quiz.